Welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing great. As usual, before we go too far, just want to make sure that the stream is working fine, the video feed is okay, you guys can see me clearly. So just want to make sure that the audio, the microphone is working as well. You can hear me fine, there's no echo, no distortion, no problem whatsoever. Let me know in the chat if everything is okay before I proceed. If there's any problem, of course, I'm going to fix it first. And while I wait for some feedback, let me drink some coffee first. Coffee. Feedback is pouring in already. Thank you so much, guys. I like how Jari and Viper are typing exactly the same words. Audio and video okay. Thank you so much, Jari Hukari and Viper Gamuka. All right, as usual, I'll say hi to people first. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll say hi to members first. If you are a member, your name is highlighted in green and there's a star badge next to your name. For non-members, don't worry, I'll get to your chat as soon as I can after members first, all right? Gregory says, looking forward to it, but I will have to listen while driving. Well, be careful, Gregory. Safety first always. Thanks for joining. I'm really liking my Pen F, but all those buttons and dials, sheesh, it's so much easier to pick up the GM5, so I leave it behind, so I have no choice. Paired with the Olympus 25 f1.8 easy carry. I understand what you mean. I'm not a fan of all these manual dials. I don't really understand the craze of the Fuji fans. They love all these manual exposure compensation, shutter speed, ISO dials. To me, they're just cumbersome and very, very difficult to work with. I prefer shortcut buttons and the two dials at the top of the camera, top right of the camera, the DSLR style, the dual command dial. That is more efficient. I definitely prefer that kind of setup for professional use. It allows me to change my settings quickly and get to everything within a few fingers reach, right? Rather than have all the dials spread out throughout the entire camera body, which to me is completely senseless. But hey, a lot of people love it. They love the tactile feel of turning the manual dials, right? Which I'll never understand. Fuji-ish. Rowan Capture says, had a busy shoot today. Train spotting, driving between different lines, missed a turn, didn't realize until I went 8 kilometers down the road. Wow, that's really far. I found I knew where I was going, I did not. I thought I knew I was going, I did not. I'll set the GPS next time. Well, I guess 8 kilometers is far, it's not like impossible to just turn back, right? Well, hopefully you find the location soon and you can get the shots that you missed. All right. Andrew says, hey Robin and everyone, all sound and video okay. Thank you so much for the update, Andrew. Very good to see you here. Have you found anything interesting on carousel spotting, hunting recently? Gregory says, I do keep the 12 to 40. If it's the EZ lens, then it's the 14 to 42 on the camera for quick reaction. I see. All right, that's a very convenient lens to have, right? It's for versatility. No A-OK. Alright, so let's go to non-members. John says, to be honest, I have several. One, a zoom lens kit, 714, 12 to 100, 100 to 400. Those are massive zoom range from 7 all the way to 400, right? We're talking about 14 to 800 with the possibility of adding teleconverters, which is even more insane. The other, a prime kit, 9, 17, 75. There's a lot of gaps in between. Hey, what if you want to shoot 25 or somewhere in between of 9 to 17, for example? Depends on what the day is. Okay, that's interesting. Hi Vapagamuka, good to see you. Thanks for the update, Jari Hukari and Vapagamuka. Appreciate that. Andrew says, I saw that you're selling at Carousel. Of course I am. I've been there for like more than 10 years already. I'm tempted with a couple of lenses. I see. Which lenses specifically? Let me sleep over it first. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like when you can't sleep thinking about something, that's the sign that you have to buy it, right? Yeah. I do that too, Andrew. I do that too. Photo CB says, hey Robin and all, raining today but managed to get out and shoot yesterday, then came home and the power went off until past midnight. Oh, that must have been horrible. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully nothing bad happened or there are no bad consequences. Right. Jerry says, hi from Finland. Now we have -7 degrees. That is really, really cold. I guess it is snowing. Yep, you have 13 centimeters of snow. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Ashley says, hi Robin, you guys started early. Good evening to everyone. Did we start early? No, I start on time, right? This has always been the same time for the past 2 years of my live stream. There was one time though, I think a few weeks ago, I did accidentally start my live stream 1 hour early for whatever weird reasons. That was the only time that happened. I couldn't believe it happened, but all this time, I think I pride myself at being on time. Am I right? I've always been on the dot. Like when the time strikes 10 o'clock here in Malaysia, it's always on the dot. I'm never late. I'm never early. I mean, there was a one time early. There was a one time thing, right? But I was never late. So I think I'm quite proud of that achievement. I can't guarantee that I'll never be late ever, but so far for the past 2 years of live streaming, I've been very punctual, and I think that is something to be celebrated, right? Do you guys agree? Yeah, 10 o'clock, right? Yeah, that's true. Row and capture. Dan says, I have a 5D Classic but will pick up the EM1 Mark II this year, primarily for video with a 12 to 40 f2.8. That's a great lens to start. I think that one lens can do everything, of course. Hawkets say, hi Robin. Hi, how are you? Good to see you here. Video Carl says, hi Robin. Hey, good to see you here. Dan says, hey everyone. Hey. Alright, I've caught up with the chat. Let me give you guys some updates on what's happening in my life, but let me drink some coffee first. I think not much updates. I did have some shoots. I will share one of the recent shoot that I did later. Again, it's for Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre, KLPAC. I know last live stream and last Monday's video, it was the same shoot. It was TECA, the Audio Visual Festival thing. And I talk about on last Monday's video using the TECA job, the photos I got from that particular job, why I am staying with Micro Four Thirds in 2026. During that shoot, I realized that there were some things that I can do with Micro Four Thirds that I couldn't with any other systems. And there was one thing that I forgot to mention or I failed to include in that video, which will make more sense about why smaller and lighter gear matter. The shoot was not just the mini concert setup at night. The performance at night started at 8:30. It ended around midnight. So we're talking about 3 hours, 4 hours kind of performance. Nothing unusual. It's like a mini concert kind of duration. But I didn't start shooting at that performance. I was hired to shoot a full day event. I was there. Thankfully, the client didn't ask me to go there in the morning. I was there at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was asked to arrive at 2, so, well, if you're asked to arrive at 2, you shouldn't be there at 2, right? I was early. I was there at 1:30 or even earlier for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And because I was early, I was already there and the event already started since morning. I just jumped right in and started working. So I was shooting from 1:30 all the way until almost midnight. We're talking about 11 hours of shooting duration. Of course, there were breaks in between. There was a dinner break. I had about 1 hour off in between. But my point was, because I was shooting long duration, it's a full day shoot, right? We're talking about 10 hours, 11 hours total. So carrying gear that is lighter in setup in a smaller bag, the total of my gear, the 5 lenses and the EM1 Mark II was only 1.2 kilograms. With the bag and all the other accessories I weigh, it's only about 1.5 kilograms, right? Having such a light setup and carrying the camera with small prime lenses, running around with it, it makes more sense compared to, say, having a full frame camera with a zoom lens that will weigh about 2 kilograms while I'm holding it, shooting for long duration. It may not seem like much if the concert is only 1 to 2 hours. I mean, anyone can handle it, right? 2 kilograms is not like impossible. But what if it's 10, 12 hours continuous shoot, and it's not like you're stuck seated in one position. You have to move, right? And during the job before the performance, I have to run to different floors. There were multiple things happening at different locations, and I had to cover all of them at once. So I was technically running from one spot to another, carrying all my gear with me, shooting the workshop, shooting the rehearsal, shooting the setup, shooting all the different things that's happening at the same time, right? So it makes sense. It accumulates. It doesn't seem like it, but if your gear is heavier, imagine you're carrying 2 kilograms of lens and camera setup for 12 hours compared to, say, something that's only 700-800 grams. Say I was using the EMR Mark II and the 45 1.8. That's like 700-800 grams only, right? It makes a huge difference. Shooting the entire day, that's where things in your body, parts of your body will start to ache. I hope that makes things clearer. Like, oh, Robin, like, why can't you handle, like some heavier lenses for just 1 to 2 hours? It doesn't make any sense, right? You look like you're quite fit. But guys, it's not just 2 to 3 hours shoot, right? It's 10 to 12 hours per day, 3 days consecutively from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if your gear is heavy, you will feel it at the end of every day. You will feel like dying. So anyway, that was Monday's video, why I prefer shooting with Micro Four Thirds setup and why I'm staying with Micro Four Thirds in 2026. I hope you guys find it very useful. I definitely poured my heart and soul into making that video. I shared so many photographs and examples of why the EMR Mark II can get me the shots that I can, and I know that the shots I got were cleaner than full frame because I was shooting at ISO 200. Yes, ISO 200. My ISO 200 shots will definitely outperform full frame cameras that are shooting at ISO 1600, 3200, or possibly even 12,800. Come on, let's be real, right? My ISO 200 will definitely be better than ISO 6400 or 12,800 for a full frame. And I know if I carry a full frame camera, I don't have the same confidence in lowering down my ISO numbers and slowing down my shutter speeds based on the 5-axis image stabilization's effectiveness on the EMR Mark II. It's not on the same level on the full frame cameras. I just need to bump up the shutter speeds higher, and because of that, I need to increase the ISO. And ISO 12,800 versus ISO 200, ISO 200 on my EMR Mark II wins. No questions asked. No matter what denoise software that you use, no matter how you want to argue about equivalence, Micro Four Thirds wins in this particular case. Case closed. End of story. All right, time to move on. I've been trying to make more videos to fill up my buffers, so I've been very, very actively shooting and making my talking head videos for this past few weeks because I know that I'll be very busy in February and March particularly leading to the workshop that I'll be conducting with Dimatis Solanto and Peter Forsgard. So I have to run, because I'm the one in Malaysia, right? So I have to do most of the work. And yeah, leading to that, so I foresee that I may not have much time making videos in February and March. So that's why in January I'm relatively free. So I'm making a lot of videos now, running around doing as many as like 3 to 4 videos per week. It's insane. We have wind blowing, so don't be surprised if my light box suddenly flew, right? Because I mean, if you're an engineer, you know that this area is facing the wind. There's a pressure on the areas, the surface area. That's how. Anyway, never mind. We have a super chat. Thank you so much. Let me bring it up. Hot Gates, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. So tonight's topic is very simple. I'm just asking, what is your Micro Four Thirds setup? Because I just shared my setup on my Monday's video, right? For my jobs, for that particular job. Of course, different jobs, I may have different setup. But for that kind of shoot, I brought 5 lenses, which was the Panasonic 9 f1.7 for my wide-angle shooting. For anything normal range, I have the 15 f1.7 Panasonic as well, and then I have the Olympus 25 f1.8. For telephoto reach, I have the 45 f1.8 and 75 f1.8, or 5 prime lenses together with the EMR Mark II in a bag with multiple batteries and everything. It weighs only 1.2 kilograms. That's my setup for that particular job. For my street photography, I carry something smaller like EPL7 or EM5, EM10 original, and I'll just run around with the 25 f1.8, right? I think I've shared my macro setup already. It's the 60 f2.8 macro, which is one of the best macro lenses lenses out there, and I have my flash, diffuser, everything. I've made videos to talk about this. I won't repeat it here. So of course, different situations, I'll use different lenses and a different kind of setup to get the shots that I need. Of course, sometimes I use flash, like for my macro photography, I use flash. For that situation, my professional shoot for Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center, flash was not allowed, so no flash was used there. So let me know what is your setup in your Micro Four Thirds. It's not about me. I want to hear your setup. Maybe there are some lenses that I've never heard of before. That'll be really, really interesting. And yeah, maybe there's something that I can learn as well from this session. Before I get to the chat, let me drink some coffee. Coffee. And of course, there'll be another set of photographs that I want to share here. Another shoot that I did for Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center. I think this shoot is also very, very interesting. I can't wait to share those photographs with you guys. All right. Let's see, members chat first. Tomato, hi Tomato, how are you? Good evening, Robin and all. Almost forgot about the stream, but I caught up at 2 times speed. No worries, even if you forget about it, I can always watch it later, right? And I think it gets a little bit more confusing now because I don't stream every week anymore. And I guess for those of you who were not here in the last stream, I've made some changes on my timetable or the way I do things on this channel. I don't do live streams every week anymore. It's once in every 2 weeks. And the weeks that I don't have live stream, I will substitute with a long form video. So it's 1 week with 2 long videos. The next week will be 1 video, 1 live stream. The following week will be 2 videos. And then after that, 1 long video and 1 live stream. So it's either 2 videos or 1 video and 1 live stream. That's it. So 1 live stream in every 2 weeks. For those of you who have missed that particular update. Anna, is that how I say your name? Anna says, really want to grab the GX85 or GX9, but so worried about the quality of the electronic viewfinder, 60% EVF shooter here. I see. I guess if you really care about the viewfinder, then maybe GX8. I heard the GX8 has a better viewfinder compared to the sequential field electronic viewfinder found in the GX9. And the GX8, I think, is a wonderful, fantastic camera as well. Video Carl says, as tempting as other cameras are, it's the Micro Four Thirds lenses that keep me invested. Yes, I think to me it's beyond just lenses, right? I talk about why I love the small lenses and particularly the 45 1.8 and 75 1.8. They are so sharp and yet they're so small and they give me bright aperture at 1.8. I just cannot find the substitute in other systems. That's why I stayed with Micro Four Thirds. But beyond that, it's the combination of everything, right? The camera just works. The autofocus works in that really dark situation. And oh, there's one thing that I also didn't mention. Maybe it's just specific to OM system or Olympus. Olympus somehow managed to get the electronic viewfinder right from day one. Like if you have the cameras from first generation OMD, the EM5, EM1, and we're talking about more than 10 years ago now. If you use those electronic viewfinder today, they may not have the best resolution, they may not be the largest and brightest, they may not have the best refresh rate, but if you shoot in really low light situation when it's very dark, the electronic viewfinder's view, what you see through the EVF, it doesn't lag. It is smooth. It doesn't stutter. That is, to me, something very important because I deal with low light situation a lot. So when I work with cameras like EM1 Mark II or OM1, I really treasure the view on not just the electronic viewfinder, the LCD screen as well. What I compose with, it doesn't lag. And this is something that Panasonic doesn't fix. I don't know about their newer cameras like G9 Mark II or GH7, but even in the G9, the first generation, and the GH4, GH5, the electronic viewfinder and LCD screen, they lag so badly, they stutter, and it wasn't smooth. It was very patchy when you shoot in very, very low light situation. They have to lower down the refresh rate of the screen to brighten the exposure so they can see what you shoot. Whereas for Olympus cameras, they don't have to do that. You still see everything clearly and everything is bright. Yet you have very smooth shooting experience. That's one thing that I didn't mention in the video. I guess if I want to talk about everything, it's gonna be like a 3 hours video, right? Who's gonna watch that? And that's the problem with Sony cameras as well. I don't know the newer ones. So especially Fuji cameras, it was so bad. The experience shooting through the electronic viewfinder is so laggy that I have friends who get migraines after using the electronic viewfinder shooting in low light situation, right? And when he switched to Olympus, and he was like, wow, my problem is gone. The electronic viewfinder looks so smooth. Everything is so clear, right? And of course, I've talked about the 5-axis image stabilization, how that made a huge difference combined with small lenses. It's just so much easier to run around and handle, and still I can get very slow shutter speeds, allowing me to lower down my ISO numbers, getting cleaner results compared to full frame camera. Imagine, I already told you I was shooting more than 10 hours, right? After 10 hours of holding a 2 kilograms setup, right? The camera and lens, 2 kilograms, say you're having a 7200 f2.8 or f4 with the camera, whichever full frame camera that you choose. Maybe it's not 2 kilograms, maybe it's close to 2 kilograms, maybe it's 1.8 kilograms. You're holding it for 8 hours, 10 hours. Even if you have image stabilization, are you able to hand hold the camera setup for like 1/10 of a second, 1/5 of a second, or half of a second? Compared to, say, I was using 75 1.8 or 45 1.8 on my EM1 Mark II, I was running around whole day with a setup that's less than 1 kilogram, right? It's only 700, 800 grams, camera and lens combined. Even if I was running around for, say, 7, 8 hours, I was still okay, exhausted, yes. I was tired, not because of holding the camera, because I was running around, but I was still able to hand hold, steady my shot with the help of the 5-axis image stabilization down to half a second, 1 second, no problem. It makes a difference though. It's not just, oh, you know, like full frame these days have very powerful image stabilization, but holding something so heavy in terms of equivalent focal length and reach, right? And you will feel it. It is accumulative, right? After several hours, after 5 hours, you will feel it. No matter how strong you think you are, no matter how fit you are, carrying all this gear, kilos and kilos of gear, hand holding it steady, trying to grab the shot, trying to find the moment, you will feel it. It accumulates, right? So that's why holding smaller and lighter gear, it really makes a massive difference. Yeah. Hotgates says, and so now I have the OM1 Mark II Olympus or OM system 150 to 400, 45 1.2, 25 1.2, and 40 to 150 f2.8. The 90 f3.5 macro and 12 to 40 f2.8. Awesome. All pro lenses, except, yeah, it's all pro lenses. Amazing. You have the most expensive lens from OM system as well, which is the 150 to 400. They must love you so much. Jer says, good morning, evening, Robin. My current setup is EM5 Mark II and OM1 Mark II. Lenses 12 to 45, 60 macro, and 40 to 150 plastic. Fantastic. Rented the 100 to 400 Mark II for some eagle watching this weekend. And I bet that you will love the 100 to 400 Mark II. It makes a huge difference still. And the 5-axis Sync S works wonderfully with the OM1 Mark II camera. You can really feel it. It's just fantastic. Let's roll to the members chat. Roaring Capture says, every time I consider going to full frame, I remember what I'll lose from an EM1 Mark II perspective over 100 lens, small and light, good wider ceiling, and Olympus colors, which suit me perfectly. Yeah, color is subjective, right? Man, recently I was playing with some Panasonic cameras. Oh my goodness, the colors. Okay, that's a different topic I don't want to dive in today. I just cannot get over how horrendous Panasonic colors are. So anyway, yes, colors are important, and I wouldn't dare to claim that Olympus or OM system has the best colors out there, but certainly the colors are very pleasant to work with. I've come to use the colors a lot, and my clients never complain about the Olympus colors that I delivered to them. Rowan Capture says, I have the EPL2 EM1 Mark II 40-150R, 12-50, and cheap manual 25 prime, but soon I'm selling all of the lenses to be able to afford 40-150 f2.8 and 17-1.8. I choose 17 because it's one of my most below 40. I guess most used focal length below 40 millimeters. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, 40-150, that's a huge lens. I mean, I guess if you need that reach, I can understand why, but maybe look at 75 f1.8 as well as an option, a cheaper option. a much smaller and lighter option, because I find that 75 was more than sufficient for everything that I need to do on stage. I rarely need to zoom past 100, because as the official photographer, you can get close, right? That's why I had the 4150 Pro before and I sold it off. So yeah. Kamuyat Mariam says, good evening, Robin and everyone. Hey, how are you? Good to see you here. Right now, I'm using the EM10 Mark III and 7 Artisan 10 3.5 cookie, my usual setup at the moment. That's interesting. No autofocus lens? Huh. That's very curious. Viper Gamuka says, for street photography, it's EM10 or EPM1 with Panasonic 14 and EM5 Mark II with Olympus 25 f1.8. That makes sense, the EM5 Mark II with 25, because 25 is slightly bigger, right? So when you use the EPM one, you want to make the setup as small, as minimal as possible. That's why the Pancake 14 f2.9 2.5 Panasonic makes more sense to be paired on the EPM one. All right. Video Carl says, GX9, G9 Mark II, 3 prime lenses, the Olympus 17, 25, and 60 f2.8. That's interesting. A macro lens in the mix. 4 zooms, on system 9 to 18, I guess that's the Mark II version. Olympus 12 to 40 Pro, Panasonic 35 to 100. Mini, meaning that it's not the f2.8 version. I guess it's the f4 to 5.6 version. 100 to 300 f4 to 5.6. I guess that's a Panasonic lens. I've generally gone small on lenses over aperture, I understand. And I totally understand why. That's why I run around with prime lenses, and I was shooting long duration of time. I can't imagine holding heavier glass and having to suffer like wrist discomfort or finger aches or like all kinds of problems, right? Yeah, I totally understand. Okay. Like people imagine like when you're shooting a concert, okay, I know you're not shooting a concert, I'm coming back to the job. Because I read some of the comments, it seems like people sort of misunderstand what kind of shoot that I did. They just thought like I was just sitting around, chilling, just hand holding the camera while I was in a very comfortable spot, clicking away, like, oh, I can do concert as well with a full frame and this lens. It's just, like, when you start running around for 10 hours, when you start to move and shoot like other things like workshops, portraits, and all the other behind the scenes setup, when you start to really work, when you are working, you will feel the weight of the camera. Compared to like casual shooter, right? You're not working, you're just there to have fun. You paid for the ticket, you enter with your camera bag, you're seated comfortably in a padded chair, it's air conditioned, you take out your camera and lens from your bag, and whatever happens on stage, you just click. You don't feel anything, right? When you start to move and you have to run from one spot to another, when you really have to move quickly, every 100 grams added to your setup, it will slow you down. It will, trust me. If you tell me no, you are just lying to yourself. Alright, I just say sometimes I shoot stuff from 1 kilometer back, mainly planes, so I need to reach. When my bank account recovers from the 4150, I'll get the MC20 as well. I understand. Alright, hello, how are you? Good to see you here. Stanis says, hi Robin, my base setup is EM1 Mark II and 12 to 40 Pro or 8 to 25 Pro, plus the EM1X with the 100 to 400. That makes sense. Wow, you're shooting something very far away. I guess wildlife and birds with the 100 to 400 lens. Alright. Zoltan says, hi Robin. Hey Zoltan, very good to see you again. How are you? My greetings from beautiful Maryland. We have cold weather, -5 degrees here. Wow, -5 degrees. I'm guessing it is snowing there at this moment. What time is it now? It is January. Yeah, it's at the thick of the winter, I guess. So you expect to be really, really cold in winter countries. Wow, snowy seasons. Those are the kind of photographs or kind of scenes that I don't get here in Malaysia. Jesse. Sorry, don't really know how to pronounce this. I have more than one setup. You are guilty for this, but one that I love is Panasonic GF1 and Olympus 25. Panasonic GF1 is a fantastic camera. I used the GF2 before, Owned it for a while, did some street shooting with it. I love the colors from the earlier Panasonic cameras. I think it was a fantastic, fantastic camera. Very robustly built as well, the GF series. The earlier ones, at least. Marco says, hello from Germany. Hey Marco, how are you? Good to see you here. Zoltan says, happy Chinese New Year. Not yet. It's not Chinese New Year yet, Zoltan. Chinese New Year is in February. I don't even know the exact dates because I'm not celebrating this year. For Chinese, if you have someone important, your family member that has passed away, which was my mom, and it's not 1 year yet, you are forbidden from celebrating Chinese New Year. So Chinese New Year this year will be February 17th. So, and it's only January 15th. It's like more than a month from now. So it's not Chinese New Year yet, Zoltan. And Happy New Year to everyone. Of course, Happy New Year to you too, Zoltan. Clint says, for video, I use 2 Panasonic G9 Mark IIs and a few of the Panasonic Primes and the 12 to 60 f2.8 to f4. The system is more developed for video applications of all types. I guess if you are into video, it definitely makes sense to get Panasonic cameras, right? The camera has more advanced video features, the codec, and of course the output from the video files, they look way better than what the Olympus or OM system ever did, which is kind of sad, right? It's like they don't even care, they don't pay attention to the video. It's like, okay, let's just let Panasonic win. I guess, yeah, why not, right? Marco says, current lineup OM3 with 17 f1.8, 12 to 40 Pro, 40 to 150 Pro, 60 macro, 150 to 600. OM3 with 40 to 150 Pro and 150 to 600 lens. Are you kidding me? Wow, that is not easy to handle. I'll understand if it's OM1 or OM1 Mark II, but OM3 with that flat gripping area? Interesting setup, I'll say. Interesting. Let's get to members chat. Azrul says, good evening, Robin. Hey, Azrul, very good to see you again. Back in Malaysia already. How was Hachioji? My go-to is 90% the 12 to 100, but I do bring the 45 1.8 around with the OM1 Mark II. That's amazing. I hope you got some awesome shots from your trip to Japan recently. Andrew says, I could resonate about the weight. My Sony A7R Mark II with the heavy prime lens could give me a carpal tunnel. I need to shake my wrist every once in a while. Yeah, like people don't realize, don't feel it, right? Of course, if you're just taking 1 to 2 shots, it makes no difference, right? Let's say that, oh, I have a beautiful hipster-looking pancake with ice cream in front of me that is so colorful with peaches and strawberries, and you know, it's so colorful, right? So I just take the camera out, grab some shots. After 2 minutes, I put the camera away. Of course, it doesn't make a difference. But if you are a working photographer, when you're constantly holding the camera and lens in your hand throughout the entire day, and this was not even the worst shoot that I had, right? I had like full day shoot from morning, barely dawn until like, I guess any wedding photographers will understand. You know, you holding it such a heavy setup, it makes a huge difference, right? So yeah. Wow. And Jet Low, if that's the way I pronounce your name, Jet Low. I just got back from Antarctica where I had the EM1 Mark II and the 2 to 40 Pro and 100 to 400 Mark I. I'm expecting today an OM1 Mark II with the 100 to 400 Mark II and 12 to 100 Pro. All right, those are fantastic lenses. Good that you have the EM1 Mark II, though I wouldn't trust the camera now. For weather sealing, the camera was launched in 2016, almost 10 years ago. So any cameras that old, even if it's in the box, never open, the rubber seals or gaskets would have been compromised somehow. So I wouldn't trust the weather sealing of such an old camera, but any camera from the past 5 years will be fine. So I'll say that OM1 Mark II that you just got today will be a better camera in such harsh weather conditions. And all the Pro lenses are weather sealed as well, so no problem. Victor says, good evening, Robin. Hey, Victor, how are you? I got the EM5 Mark III paired with the 12 to 45 f4 Pro and just got the extension 40 to 150 f4 Pro. Haven't really tried it out yet, but have a trip coming up tomorrow. Can't wait. That's awesome. This is the thing. I know it's a bit too late now, so it doesn't matter. Go to the trip, have fun, take some nice photographs. I will always encourage people to try the camera and lens first before they go on the trip, just to make sure that everything works. You know, you never know, sometimes the lens is faulty, and once you're on a trip already, you realize that, oh no, it doesn't autofocus. That's when things start to happen, right? And you're not really happy about it, and it will sort of like become a mood killer for the entire trip, right? Or shoot first, like go around the streets at your backyard, or if you're going to shoot some wildlife, go to the zoo, see how the autofocus works, see how the camera handles, so you can be more familiar with it rather than just buy it and immediately run to a trip. Then you don't give yourself the opportunity to get to know the camera. At least I think that will help you to get even better shots once you're on that particular trip. So just an advice for other people going for holidays or trips with their camera system. And make sure you know your camera first before you fly. Takonoko says, "Hi Robin, at long last I own most of the newest compact lenses from OM Digital Solutions, 12 to 45 f4, 45-50 f4, 20 f1.4, and 25 f1.8 Mark II. Just missing the 17 and 100 to 400 Mark II, paired nicely on the OM3. Wow, a lot of people are pairing all these massive lenses on the OM3. Like I would be getting, my wrist would break using the 100 to 400 on the OM3. I'd rather use the 100 to 400 on a EM5 or OM5 camera, which has a more secure gripping, hand gripping area compared to the OM3, which doesn't make sense to me. Jadlo says, I felt I need a second body, so I didn't need to change lens. If you don't like changing lenses, then getting multiple bodies makes sense, but having multiple bodies also make your setup a bit more complicated. It's a bit more messy, and carrying two bodies means that, hey, if you add up the weight, it's like one full frame camera already, right? Or more than one full frame camera. And I understand the convenience of not having to change lens, and sometimes you cannot change lens in some very dusty situations, say if you're in the desert or you're shooting at the beach. So opening up the mount is a big no-no. So I understand why you might want more than one camera body, but like in other situations where it's not critical, I'll just change lens, no big deal. Yeah. All right, let's see. Happily Retired says, EM1 Mark III, enjoying playing with the variety of used lenses. Just pick up the Tokina 300 f6.3. Horrible to focus, tiny depth of field, but definitely has some character. All right. No autofocus, no go for Robin, but I guess if it works for you, then why not, right? Let me drink some coffee. Coffee. Okay. Let's see. Andrew says, S4 Micro Four Thirds. I'm usually with the GX9. And my favorite to-go lens now is the Panasonic 15 f1.7. It's kind of been stuck on the camera for the past 2 months. Yeah, I totally understand, right? The 15 1.7 is quite a magical lens. It's on my OM1 now, live streaming. You guys are seeing me through the Panasonic 15 f1.7, and I'm using that lens for my video making as well. So for my long form videos, anything that's not me, because my talking head will be like very nice, blurry bokeh in the background, right? That's the Olympus 45 f1.8. Anything other than that, when I was showing the close-up of camera's lens or whatever that I'm talking about, those close-up views, the B-rolls, those were shot with the 15 f1.7. And of course, for street photography, when I want the 28 equivalent, I know it's not exactly 28. 15 times 2 is 30, but to me it's close enough. I use it like I would use a 28 wide angle for my street photography. I think it's one of the better lenses out there. Definitely better than what I get from the Panasonic 14 f2.5, although I know that the 14 is a true pancake lens. The 15 1.7 is not a pancake, but you get some advantages here and there. The lens is sharper, it handles chromatic aberration better. It's f1.7 versus f2.5, so definitely it's better in terms of optical performance, but it's also bigger and chunkier. But you gotta pick, right? So of course I picked the 15 1.7 like Andrew here. Yeah. Photo CB says, my animal main setup is OM1 with grip, 50 to 200 f2.8, 300 f4. 300 f4 is a fantastic lens. The general setup will be OM1, 12 to 40 Pro, 40 to 50 Pro. The macro will be the OM1 with the 60 macro lens or FF600R flash. Is the 600R powerful enough to? Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm using the FF50R. Walk around is EPL7 with 17 1.8 or 25 1.8 or 45 1.8, all the small prime lenses and a small pen light camera. I love the EPL7. I think the EPL7 is such a fantastic camera. I'm gonna make a video to talk about the EPL7 again. Yeah, I never made one specific video to talk about EPL7. I always use it for different topics, like shooting a studio portrait with a budget setup, right, using EPL7, or I was using it to demonstrate the handheld starlight mode, shooting night time out on the streets in low light situations. I also used the EPL7 to do some macro photography recently, or I use it to make fun of the Fuji X-Half because you can shoot vertically with a crop, and you can shoot like the, what you call that, the side-by-side image. Anyway, I've done a lot of things with EPL7, but never talk about why the EPL7 is such a fantastic camera, and yeah, I'll be making a video to talk about that very, very, very soon. Yeah, Andrew says the Panasonic 15 is not a pancake lens, it's a cupcake. I'll call it a mooncake lens. Though it's not really a mooncake season yet. Jack O'Neill says Panasonic G9 12-35 f2.8, 35-100 f2.8, light and compact, Olympus 45 f1.8, and 14-150 f45.6, a super zoom, and a DJI 15 f1.7. I don't think the DJI camera has the Leica brand. The Panasonic LX100 Mark I, other lenses and bodies I see. All right. I guess like if you have, yeah, well, G9, if you compare with the LX100, the LX100 is way smaller than the G9. I was thinking like if you have smaller cameras like the GM1 or the EPL7, for example, then I think the LX100 may not make a lot of sense because you do have some small lenses with you, like 45 1.8 and the DJI 15 1.7 there. Zotan says, I'm staying with my battle-proof Olympus Micro Four Thirds system and keeping all my Panasonic lenses in the new year. As I get older, more I appreciate the size of the system combined with its capabilities. Definitely. I mean, if it's good enough to give you the shots that you need, and if you're happy with what you get out of these cameras, then what's the point of changing system, right? It's just you're gonna waste more money and you're gonna spend more time and having more headache trying to figure out a new system. And a lot of people don't realize this, is that it's important for you to know the system before you can maximize its potential. A lot of people just buy something and they figure out they don't like it, quickly they just give it up, but they don't spend enough time getting to know the system well enough to be able to maximize its strengths, right? And that's the thing that we have to do. And if you stay with the same system, you're more effective and efficient operating it. You can get the best out of it. So it makes more sense to stay with Micro Four Thirds, something that you're already familiar with there, Zoltan. Clint says, for stills, I gravitate to the Olympus EM1 Mark III, 25 f1.2, 12-100 Pro, 9 f1.7. I find 100-400 Olympus a better system with its teleconverters, less expensive, better availability. Yeah, 100-400. Are you comparing it with the Panasonic 100-400? I guess you are. I mean, you're saying it's better, less expensive, right? I'm assuming you're not talking about the other lenses like 25-400 or 9 f1.7 because those are very specific and unique lenses. Like there are no other options 25 f1.2 for Micro Four Thirds. There's no other 12-100, and there's no other 9 f1.7, right? If you don't like the lens, there's like you're stuck with it, right? That's the only lens that you have if you need that particular focal range and that bright aperture, right? So yeah. Sonic Electronics says EP2. All right, EP2 in the house. That's quite an old camera. Interesting. All right. Kamiyat Mariam says, yes, using hyperfocal distance, so f8, everything at 2 feet onwards at infinity is in focus. That's my walk around recently, no need autofocus. Of course, my battle gear is different. I understand. Yeah, I still want my bokeh though. I don't want to have everything in focus. Okay, let's see if members chat. Roy and Capture says, I finally found the sweet spot for my EM1 Mark II today. Noise went down by 50%. I was shooting to dark before, now I stick to the light side of the exposure, made a rookie mistake. All right. I would just stick to the right exposure. I wouldn't overexpose or underexpose. If you overexpose, it means that you can actually get away with lower ISO numbers, right? If not, then why you overexpose? If you underexpose, then it's just disaster. If you bring up the shadow, that's where all the noise creeps in, right? So yeah, doesn't make sense. Yeah, so just stick with the proper exposure, like not overexposed or underexposed. Zotan says, no snow now. just yet, but we have a little snow during Christmas, but now it's all melted. All right. But it's really cold. Oh, I thought you were saying it was like -5 degrees, right? It's really cold. The Foodpedia says Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K with Olympus 12 to 40. All right, I guess you're doing video stuff, which is something that I'm not doing, so I'll never understand a Blackmagic camera and I'll never use one. Faladarim, if that's how I pronounce your name. Sorry if I got it wrong. GH7 10 to 25 f1.7, 2550 f1.7, and the OM, I guess it's Olympus still, 40 to 150 f2.8. All right. Interesting range of lenses that you have. Interesting setup. I guess GH7, you're using it mainly for video, I guess. I'm not too keen on the sizes of the 1025 f1.7. I'd rather have 9 f1.7, 15 f1.7, and 25 f1.8. And I have no problem changing lenses. If you add all these 3 lenses together, the weight will be less than the 10 to 25 f1.7, right? Yeah, or you know, like, and then a 2550, right? Then I already have 25 f1.8. Now I'll just add a 45 f1.8. So 4 lenses, I have the same coverage, and yet you combine all these 4 lenses, it's less than those 2 lenses combined. Not to mention the cost as well. And people keep saying, but then again, if you change lenses, you'll miss shots. Well, I'm gonna show you again later. I mean, I've shown so many examples. I don't miss shots. I'm not saying that I capture everything. I mean, okay, that's very arrogant for me to say I don't miss shots. I did miss some shots. I'm just saying that I won't miss shots due to changing lenses. I guess that makes it clearer, right? Like, I can't be everywhere at the same time because the stage is large, right? Sometimes something's happening at the other side of the stage and I'm not there. Obviously, I'll miss the shot, right? But I miss shot not because of changing lenses. Yeah. Okay. Let's read a few more chats and then we'll start with the photo sharing for today. Jerry says, I have the EPL 8, EPL 6, EPL 3. Wow, you are a pen hoarder. I often take the 30 f3.5 macro, so I guess that is your general shooting lens. 30, 60, that's a little bit tight. I would probably stay with 25. The Foodpedia said which Laowa lens? Laowa has a lot of lenses. Olympus EM5 Mark II, fantastic camera. And Olympus 17 f1.8, fantastic lens as well. Marco says, concerning handling of the OM3 when using the telephotos, I also use a small rig hand grip for the OM3, I understand. But then again, the OM3 by itself, to me, is already a very chunky camera. I cannot imagine adding another grip to it. I guess if you want to hold bigger lenses like say 40 to 150 Pro or 100 to 400 or 150 to 600, then it makes sense to add even more bulk to counterbalance the lens if you want to hand hold the large lens. But if I want to keep things simple, yeah, that grip doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't make sense to me. But if it works for you, then you know, who am I to question you, right? I guess just use whatever that works for you. John says, good morning, Robin from New Jersey. EM1 Mark III with a 7.5 manual prime. Okay. Olympus 25 f1.8, 45 1.8. The zoom will be Olympus 714 Pro, 12 to 45 Pro, and 40 to 150 f 2.8 Pro. All lenses purchased used. It makes sense. And I have very little problem with used products so far, I guess, especially lenses. Of course, if possible, check the products you buy before you buy. And yeah, I've had a lot of used products as well, and they all perform flawlessly. None of them have any issues whatsoever. And it's one way to save some money, right? Shave off some spendings. And yeah, you know, it doesn't have to buy new all the time. I guess it's also better for the environment, right? If you care. I guess not everyone cares. Victor says, oh, I tried the functionality, just haven't gone out to really shoot proper photos. Understand. I'm not like specifically criticizing you, Victor. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you can, of course, spend some time getting to know the camera. It makes a difference. And I understand sometimes you don't have the luxury, right? Like, and a lot of my friends, they work full time and they really don't have time to play with the cameras until vacation time. I totally understand. I'm just saying, if you have the chance, why not, right? Yeah. Yeah, proper subjects. No worries, Victor, I understand. Santic says, "Hi Robin, Happy New Year." I don't know why the comment is not popping up. Let me try again. Hey Santix, very good to see you. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, let's see Santik's gear of choice. OM5, EM1 Mark II, EPL8, EPL9. Wow, you have an EPL8 already. Why do you have an EPL9? Makes no sense. 17, 25, 45, 60, 1250, 12 to 40, and a pancake kit lens, and a 40 to 150 kit. That's quite a wide range of lenses that you already have, and a Panasonic 20 pancake, all small lenses, right? Try to keep things small and tight. I totally understand where you're coming from. Yeah. EPL8, EPL9, very interesting. Clint says, everyone that I know who has purchased the OM3 has added an accessory grip. Which also means that the camera was poorly designed in the first place. If it was properly designed, you wouldn't need an additional grip, right? Yeah, Sunday says, I do plan to reduce the EM1 Mark II and EPL9. Reduce, you mean you want to get rid of your other cameras like OM5 and EPL8 and just stay with the EM1 Mark II and EPL9? That makes sense, all right. Recently, I'm trying to get a used 17 for my general photography and street. There are some floating around in Carousel, right? Sold for like 850. I guess that's a fair price. Let me see, open up Carousel, Olympus 17mm. There's one for 5 hours ago, 500 ringgit. I don't know what's the condition though. 500 ringgit. Olympus 17 f1.8. I hope it's in good condition. You better check carefully when you buy it. In the comment it says dekat front element macam ada dua titik. So I guess there's dust inside the lens. That's why it's selling cheap. So if you want like better condition, I guess some people are selling for like 850. You know, like is someone selling for 350? Well, it has an issue. Yeah, 850, 900, 800 plus 900. Yeah. That's a fair price, right? It's like half of its retail price when it's new. Yeah. You're also looking for OM1 and OM3, but have to reduce existing bodies. Understand. School Kids says, using the EM10 Mark IV with the 14 to f2.5, carrying 25 1.8, 42.5 f1.7, 14 to 50 f4 to 5.6. Goal is to upgrade to EM5 Mark III and get the 20 f1.7 to replace the 14 or 25? No, I don't think the 20 f1.7 can replace the 14 or 25. They're all totally different lenses. I'll keep the 14 and 25 for sure. Ryan Catcher says, yeah, I don't let the exposure spike hit edge or spike too high, but I found going a bit past the middle into the bright side and the photo comes out perfect. Understand. Yeah, the trick is not to underexpose, right? If once you underexpose, that's when nightmare happens. Yeah. I don't really know how to pronounce your name. Let me try to bring up the comment. N22 PDF. Hi Robin, great to see you. Good to see you too. So your setup will be OM1 Mark II, Panasonic 9 f1.7, 25 f1.8 Mark II, and 1240 Pro 75-300. All right, very good setup. JPM says, I'll keep it simple. My everyday carry is Stylus 1 in one pocket and the TG6 in the other. If you already have the Stylus 1, why do you bring the TG6? Isn't that an overlap? Like, what can you do with the Stylus 1 that you can't do with the TG6? It doesn't make sense, right? Like, when you go out photo walking, you wouldn't be in some extreme conditions where you have to like dip the camera in the water. Yep. The EM10 Mark IV stays at home. Oh, that's sad. Poor EM10 Mark IV. Show the camera some love. Rich says, I've recently changed the EM5 Mark III today, received the 12 to 200 and love it. I also have the 14 to 42 pancake and the DJI 15. All right. Why is the DJI Leica? I don't think the DJI has a Leica branding, right? DJI 15. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see the images. Does it have a Leica branding? I don't see the word Leica on the DJI lens. They didn't pay Leica to use. I guess it's the same lens. I'm not saying it is not, but they didn't pay Leica to use the name. So, anyways, Rich says, "Good afternoon from rainy south of England. Nice to see you here." Neutron Star says, "OM5 Mark II and Panasonic 100 to 400. That's the only lens that you have? Wow, you must be shooting things that's really, 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 really far away." I meant to get a 17 field of view for street. All right, all right. Mink says, "Hi Robin, I'm new to photography with Pen EP7, 14 to 42 kit lens, and 14 to 150. Looking forward to get the 100 to 400 for wildlife. Maybe upgrade camera body for underwater housing availability. I guess 100 to 400 EP7 may not be the best camera to handle such a large lens. But hey, who am I to comment? I've never seen an EP7 in real life before. They don't sell it here." Andrew says, "This whole week I'm just trying the LS100. No need to change lens, no need to think so much. But the lens is so slow though, and the images are so soft. And the colors are, yeah." Anyway, I've complained enough about that camera. If you love it, you love it, right? I guess convenience matters. And that's why smartphones, they sell like hotcakes, right? It just replaces everything in the world. Yumi says, "Hi Robin, hi everyone. Hey Yumi, very good to see you here." David says, "Good morning, Robin. Just got the OM5 Mark II, and my lenses are the 9f8. I guess that's the body cap lens, 15 f1.7, 25 f1.8, 40 to 150 f4 Pro. Very nice set of lenses you have there." Sunny says, "I don't know if I'm collecting Micro Four Thirds cameras and lenses like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all." There's no harm in that, I guess. Hey, buying cameras and lenses and doing photography is not a bad hobby if you ask me. There are other more expensive hobbies out there and you don't even get return, right? And I'm sure you do get asked to do some jobs as well from time to time, like shoot your relatives' weddings or your friends' some party, the kids' party. And you can recover some costs from that as well if you know what you're doing, right? So yeah, it's not like you just burn money all the time. JPM says, "The Stylus one can't do focus stacking or other microscope modes like the TG6, I understand. I'm hoping to see TG8 with 1-inch sensor." But here's the thing, right? Like you carry two cameras, but to me, it's like when I go out, I'm intentional on what I want to do. Let's say if I do macro, then I'll have a macro setup. I will not bring a telephoto lens or I will not bring an ultra wide angle, right? When I do street, when I'm out shooting street, I wouldn't be bringing my macro lens and look for spiders at Kuala Lumpur streets, right? When I'm at the jungle, I will not bring my portrait lens because in the jungle, I don't expect to find human beings. If I do, then I'll be really scared because those will most likely be ghosts or spirits. I don't think they appreciate having their portraits taken with my portrait lens. You get what I mean? So like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, just be intentional of what you want to do. Like if you want to do macro, do macro. If you want to do portraits, do portraits. If you want to do landscape, do landscape. Like you can't have like, oh, when I'm doing landscape, what if I want to do macro as well? And that's when you don't have a focus. That's when you try to do everything and you come up with nothing. Yeah. Rich says, "No branding, but everyone says it's the same lens with a different coating and a much lower price." Yeah, but then there's a difference, right? Panasonic paid Leica to use the Leica brand, and DJI did not. Andrew says, 17 is not Robin's favorite lens. I have a bit of a hate and love relationship with it too. Yeah, but it's a lot of people's favorites, so give it a try. I will not impose my preferences on people. I will tell you honestly what I like and don't like. That's what I've been doing on my channel. I'm sure Santix saw those videos as well, Andrew, but feel free to explore on your own, right? And you may disagree with me as well. Yeah, S100 is a bit slow. Reserve it for slow candid shoots. It's Uncle Pace camera. There's a such, no, my goodness, like the job that I did, which I'm about to share my set of photographs, right? You'll be surprised of what the uncles are using these days, okay? The uncles are using like A1, A9 Sonys, you know, Nikon Z9s, all the fastest cameras out there. Who are you to say uncles are using slow cameras, Andrew? Come on! Don't look down on uncle, okay? Neutron Star says also have the 12 to 60 Leica. Mostly use Panasonic lenses on my OM5 Mark II. Understand. Zach says, good morning, everyone. Hey, Zach, good to see you here. Ronster says, hi, Robin. My Micro Four Thirds kit is EM1 Mark II. Other bodies are EM10, EM5. Amazing camera. It's very small and compact. Olympus 12 to 40 Pro, 45 1.8, 75 f1.8, 40 to 150R, 12 to 200, 100 to 400. A lot of long zooms there. That's amazing. Yeah. Someone else says, I just changed from GX9 to EM5 Mark III and found there's no way to customize a button to metering. Okay, there is. EM5 Mark III. I don't have the EM5 Mark III, but there is a button that you can customize for metering. You just have to keep looking. PJA says, hi Robin, my setup is EPM2 and Panasonic 14 to 42 and Plastic Fantastic 40 to 150. Very minimal setup, but it works. You have a from 28 to 300 equivalent. That's a wide range. You can do a lot with just these two lenses on such a small setup. EPM2 is a fantastic camera. Right, let me read one or two more comments and then we'll start with the photo sharing already. Yumi says, my main combo is EM1 Mark II 12 to 40 Pro, EM5 Mark II with 14 to f2.5 pancake. Wow, very nice setup. David says, I haven't bought the 45 f1.8 because I'm still waiting for the weatherproof update, but it doesn't look like it's coming out soon. Just get one. It's so cheap out there in the used market. You won't regret it. It's just amazing. Ronster says, I also still have the EP1. Wow, that's the first Olympus Micro Four Thirds camera. And the 14 to 42 kit. To be honest, I don't get on with that so much now. I also use the old 4 thirds 9 to 18 with the adapter as required. Not sure what is next, possibly 60 macro. If you do a lot of macro, just get the 60 macro lens. It's one of the best lenses out there. Hey Doug, how are you? We just chatted like an hour ago or something. We just exchanged text, right? I have the EM5 Mark II and the Panasonic 12 to 35 lens for shooting video. I like to jump up on the Olympus body with face detection, autofocus, and dedicated video features. Yeah, EM5 Mark III. EM5 Mark III, definitely. Or OM5 if you can't find it, EM5 Mark III. Terry says, hi Robin, I've been shooting Micro Four Thirds for over 10 years. Wow, that's a long time. For my current setup being the OM1, 45 1.8, 60 macro, 40 to 150 Pro, Pan F 17 f1.8, 300 Pro, Panasonic 8 to 18, Panasonic 42.5 f1.2, Panasonic 25 f1.2, f1.4 Mark II, and a 1.4 times teleconverter, 2 times teleconverter. A very extensive setup that you have. You can do like everything with that setup already. You can do birding, you can do wildlife, you can do portrait, you can do macro, you can do product shooting, you can do studio, you can do events, you can do everything with that setup. And landscape as well with the 8 to 18, right? George says, I usually carry only 12 to 40 Pro, Panasonic 35-100 f2.8, Sigma 56 f1.4, Olympus 70 f1.8 for portraits and low light respectively. Not many love for Sigma tonight, huh? This is probably the first comment I've read in 1 hour that features a Sigma Micro Four Thirds lens. That's surprising. I thought a lot of people would have Sigma Micro Four Thirds lens, right? The f1.4 Trinity. Very solid setup, George. And I'll put a pause to the chat here. It's 2 minutes past midnight. Let me drink some water. Gotta stay hydrated. Yep. And I'll start with my photo sharing for tonight. For those of you who follow me on the Facebook page, you would have seen some of these photographs already. But I did not say which camera I used. It is a Micro Four Thirds camera. Same set of lenses I've talked about in the previous video, or the one that I've shared in the last live stream. This setup, I'm not gonna review what camera. I'm gonna show you the photographs first, and then you guys are gonna guess which camera that I was using. I will tell you the answer by the end of the stream. Let's keep things a little bit more fun. So this particular shoot happened in Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center as well. And this is a proper mini concert compared to the previous shoot, which was not a mini concert. And the venue for this particular shoot, the one that I'm about to show you, is much larger than the one previously. The one I used for the video on Monday, why I'm staying with Micro Four Thirds. This particular mini concert, they have 6 main singers, 6 highlight players, right? 6 key persons. supported by 4 dancers and 6-piece band, if I'm not wrong. 2 keyboardists, drummer, bassist. Who else? I think 6. If I remember, I'll have to look at the photographs. So 6-piece band member, 4 dancers, and 6 singers, like main singers, right? So it's not easy because it's not like one person is more important than the other. Every single person is important. So I try my best to capture every single person. I shot the dress rehearsal, so I don't have the audience shot. That's the problem. I always give the advice that you have to focus on the audience as well, because without the audience, the show doesn't happen, right? But when you are shooting the dress rehearsal, there's no audience. There's pros and cons to that. The good thing is you don't have to worry about blocking anyone. You can move freely, and being able to move allow you to get more creative compositions. You get more variety of shots to give to your clients. You can even shoot from any audience seats. You can move up and down, left and right, everywhere. You can run everywhere across the whole, right? Which is fantastic. But the bad thing is you don't have the crowd energy, and sometimes the crowd makes the shot. So I do what I can. I was asked to shoot the dress rehearsal, so I showed up, and these are the shots that I got. All right. And that's my friend Bichu, wearing green. You guys must have seen Bichu so many times already. The girl next to her was one of the dancers. All right. That's Bichu. These photographs are arranged chronologically. I'm not showing you the full set. I delivered like 200 plus photos to my client. I'm only showing you about 40 photos. So that's only about 20% of my deliverables to my client. But I try my best to show the best shots as possible, right? And you can see the entire stage, right? Yeah, 6-piece band. I'm not lying. You look at the 6 people at the back, right? 2 keyboardists, I think. 2 keyboardists, drummer. That's the one I missed. 2 keyboardists, a drummer, a bassist, a guitarist, and another guy playing with other stuff. So 4 dancers, you can see all 4 dancers, and 6 singers, 3 males and 3 females. So yeah, everything on stage. I use all lenses that I've mentioned previously, except the Panasonic 9 f1.7. I don't need that lens, it's just too wide. So this was shot with the Panasonic 15 f1.7. I used 25 1.8 as well for some shots. 45 1.8, a lot of shots taken with that lens, and of course, 75 1.8, very, very, very important lens. Right, a lot of dance choreography as well. They have to move a lot, and there's the thing, I couldn't predict what will happen. A lot of things are happening so instantaneously that I have to react quickly to all these shots. It's not easy, right? So they have a lot of movements, and this is the kind of shot that's very different from the previous shot that I did. So previous shot, I can use ISO 200. Right, this particular shoot, I cannot use ISO 200. I was rotating between ISO 800 to 1600. It wasn't low light, don't get me wrong, you have a lot of stage light here to work with, it's bright enough, but because I need fast enough shutter speeds to freeze motion, there was so many movement here, dancers and everything, so I need like shutter speeds of 1/200 or faster to freeze motion. That's why, although I was shooting with f1.8, f1.7, I still need ISO 800 to 1600 in such bright lighting condition. So yeah. And going close, this was actually not 75 1.8. Surprise, surprise. This was 40 to 150R. I wanted to see what that lens can do first, and then after some shots, I realized no. I'm just gonna use 75 1.8. What's the point? I can just go close. So this was 40 to 150R, one of the few shots that I had to boost up my ISO to maybe 3200 or 6400. This was 3200 ISO. Yeah, this is also 40 to 150R. This is Rachel, one of the lead singers. Amazing vocals, one of the powerhouses. Really love that she wore red. I like bright colors. You guys should know me by now, right? I love colors. And yeah, there's a lot of things happening on stage. Sometimes things that are totally unexpected. So they are rolling out the mat for sort of like a picnic, which is very cool. Right, having picnic on stage. So just trying to capture the story, the drama that's happening, unfolding in real time. Going close, this is Finn, one of the youngest singers. I think he's only 19. Very, very young. Yeah, I guess the spotlight was so bright on him, he has to close his eyes. I was like, God, Finn, please open your eyes. But he did not. This was obviously the fantastic 75 f1.8. Finn again, trying to capture him with the 3 singers in the background, 75 f1.8. Right, this is Arthur, 2 dancers doing crazy things around him while he's doing his singing, which is fantastic. Right, this Arthur again with all the singers at the back. Right, this is also Arthur again, having some really nice facial expression, like he's really in the moment. These are the kind of shots like not just capturing the singers singing, but capturing their expressions, their emotions, like all this energy and intensity. You gotta capture them, and the only way to do so is to get close. And this was the 75 f1.8, being the official photographer or the paid photographer or the main photographer. You get to go really, really close. You have no excuse of not being close enough, right? It's a dress rehearsal. You can move any way you want. The 3 main lady singers, Bichu, Kirsten, and Rachel, the traffic light colors, which is very interesting. I'm friends with Bichu, so I have biasly so many shots of her. I have to cut out the shots in my deliverables so that they don't look like I'm favoring her. So that's Bichu, green on the left, Kristen in the middle, yellow, and Rachel on the right. They're all fantastic, fantastic singers. Just that I'm friends with Bichu, of course, so there's some bias there. So that's Bichu again, doing her solo number there. And you know, like the way she put her arms on her body and the way her facial expression works here and how the light hits the face, everything just comes in together, and the background is dipped into total black. It just makes her pop out of the scene. Just love this shot so much. Have you guys guessed what camera is being used? Keep the guess coming. I'll review the answer, don't worry. I'm not like, I know there are times that I never reveal which camera I used, but please keep guessing, right? It's Bichu again. I just love Bichu, and she's very expressive when she sings, something that I love because then I get to shoot all these emotions, all this drama, all these moments, right? Which makes the shots a lot more interesting rather than just standing there and not moving and just holding the microphone like you're eating an ice cream. Yeah. There's Bichu again, right? A lot of shots of Bichu, which is fantastic. Just love her facial expression when she sings. Really, really expressive. And that's Ian, the director of this particular show, and also the director of Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre. That's Ian playing with all these other instruments, which is very interesting. And yeah, and they play with all the chairs on the ground. And there's a trick to shoot this. There were other photographers as well. I wasn't the only photographer there. The other photographers were shooting from the ground. When you shoot from the ground, especially from the front, the other singers at the back were blocked or they're blurred off due to your lens bokeh, right? So if you're using full frame camera, you have so much shallow depth of field, blur in the background, you don't see anything. So it becomes like the other singers are not important. But here's the thing. All 6 of them are equally important. No one is above anyone here. Everyone is important. You have to see everyone clearly. Having that in mind, being a photographer, it is your job to emphasize everyone equally. So what I did, instead of shooting from the ground level, I went up because the audience seat was empty. So I went up like multiple rows. I shoot with my 25 f1.8 lens down. From the top angle, high angle down, I can see layers of all these singers. And I did not shoot wide open f1.8, if I'm not wrong. It was f2.8. But then I realized that I can just focus in the middle and get everything sharp. So in the end, I shoot f1.8 anyway. So the key point here is make sure that you capture everyone. Make sure they don't leave anyone out. Make sure you don't block anyone to the best of your ability. So here the trick is to move up. You have got to move. No matter what equipment you use the 30,000 ringgit, maybe in US dollars would be like $10,000 equipment, a Sony or latest like a Z9 from Nikon, or you know, one of the most expensive cameras. Even you use Hasselblad or whatever, if you don't move yourself, you won't get good enough shots. There is just no shortcut. You have got to move, all right? You can see I did not just stay in one spot. Even if you change lens, you don't get these 2 different angles, right? Look at these 2 different angles. Of course, from left, I moved to the right, trying to get different kind of coverage. And you have got to constantly move and you've got to move fast because things happen on stage. They don't stay there for like 30 minutes for you. Okay, 30 minutes exaggerating. They're not staying there for like 1 minute. They're probably only there for like 30 seconds and they're going to change choreography already, all right? So you have got to move and you've got to move really, really, really fast. And yeah, the three of the ladies dancing, of course. Yeah, gotta capture the hand gestures, the hand movements. And yeah, the men now doing the dance and the singing. There's one photographer in front blocking my view. I can see the bottom right corner, bottom right. His head there. I wish I can chop his head off. Kidding. Anyway, yeah, all the singers doing the expression. Yeah, I'm going to put a pause here. I'm going to continue. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the first set of photographs I'm sharing. There's another about 20 more photographs to share. But let me drink coffee and get back to the chat. Coffee. Let me remind everyone that I have membership enabled on this channel and you can support me with just the price of a cup of coffee. By joining as a member, you have some really cool perks, like you have early access to all my videos. You see my videos 24 hours before everyone else. We also have members only live stream once a month where you don't have to wait for so many people on the chat. You can chat with me more intimately and more directly. And of course, if you're a member, I prioritize my responses to your comments first, whether it's in my old or new videos. And even in these live streams, I will respond to your chat first before everyone else. I've also taken down some older videos that were not doing very well. And this is to make sure that the YouTube's algorithm is not affected. I want YouTube to continue to push my newer videos to a wider audience. These older videos include tips and tricks on composition, black and white photography, how to get sharp images doing macro, and some reviews of the less popular lenses. If you want full access to these videos that I've taken down, you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me besides joining as a member. You can buy me a cup of coffee using this link, or if you prefer to use PayPal, my PayPal link is in the description below. Do check them out. There are many ways to support me. Any support, any contribution goes a long way. Will definitely enable me to do more as you realize that a lot of this content that I go out to do, they do cost money and I use my own funds and resources to make these videos. So your contribution will enable me and encourage me to do a lot more and share more with you guys. All right, let's get back to the chat. But before that, let's drink more water. Gotta stay hydrated. Hey, I've been talking non-stop for 1 hour. Gotta stay hydrated. Yeah. I see some Hasselblad being mentioned. Zach. All right, let's get to the chat. Members first. Roy and Capture is guessing Panasonic GM1. Nope, it is not GM1. I wouldn't be using... I would use GM1 for street photography or casual shoots, but not for stage photography, right? I need the 5-axis mesh stabilization. I need the electronic viewfinder. I need the beefier grip, right? So yeah, I'm giving so many clues already. Terry says, agree, Robin, Macro Photo kit is affordable compared to full frame, of course. Zach says, Olympus EM1 Mark II, I guess you're talking about your setup. The zoom will be 12 to 45 Pro, 40 to 150 f4 Pro. The prime's Mitacon 17, f0.95. All right, and Voigtlander 29 and Olympus 45 f1.8. Interesting choices of lenses. But then again, for me, no autofocus, no go. But if you enjoy using the manual lens, go for it. Marky says, my current favorite setup is EM1 Mark II and the 40 to 150 Pro. With the MC20, it shoots close and far. All right, that's very interesting. 40 to 150 Pro is a fantastic lens. Oportica says, my new second-hand camera is Panasonic G85, paired with 20 f1.7, 12 to 60, f3.5 to 5.6, packed in my everyday sling. I'm very happy with them. That's fantastic. I guess you have you have very versatile lenses there. You have a bright aperture lens for low light, and you have 12 to 60 that gives you quite a wide coverage for a lot of things that you can do. Zimi says, hi Robin and chat. Hey Zimi, how are you? Good to see you here. Zimi says, G9 Mark II, OM1 Mark II, Panasonic 100 to 300 Mark II. Interesting. 12 to 45 f4 Pro, Panasonic 25 1.4, and Sigma 56 f1.4. Second person to mention Sigma here. I guess you have, I'm guessing from the setup, you're doing a little bit of birding and wildlife with the 100 to 300. And other than that, you shoot a lot of portraits and street as well, with 25 1.4, the deliberate choice of f1.4 lens, right, for the bokeh and shallow depth of field effect. Mikhail says, I got 3 EP1s. 3? Any reason you bought 3 EP1s? EP3, 2 EP5. Why 2 EP5? EPM1, EPM2, EPM2s as well. Wow. EPL1, EPL3, EPL7. I'm not, guys, I'm not asking you what you have. I'm asking you what is your setup. Say, for example, it doesn't matter, right, if you are doing portrait photography. What is your setup? My portrait photography will be EM1 Mark II and 45 1.8, for example. My setup for macro will be maybe OM1 and 60 f2.8 macro with a flash, right? My setup for stage, I've already talked about this just now, and my setup for street photography, maybe EPL7 and 25 1.8. I'm not asking you to list everything that you have. Okay, there's a difference. What is your setup for specific shoots? There's a difference, okay? Crypto says, hi Robin, I have an EM10 Mark II body and a 14-42 pancake lens, 17 f1.8 prime. Would you recommend buying a used first generation 12-40? Of course, 12-40 is a fantastic lens. I've talked about this many times. Let me just find my video before. All right. My 12-40 is with a friend. He has not returned it to me yet. Okay. Why I'm loving 12-40 f2.8 Pro. Share. Copy. 12-40 mm f2.8 Pro. Yeah, if you haven't seen this video, crypto, make sure you check it out. All right. Okay, I hope it helps you making a decision. Share my thoughts about that lens there. John says, good afternoon from UK. John, how are you? Nice to see you here. All our snow has melted away, so I'm here watching your live stream instead of walking the hills. No worries, and thanks for joining the stream. Very happy to see you as always, John. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Terry says, good photos, Robin. Shooting in theater is not easy as the light is constantly changing. This particular show wasn't that challenging. It was more challenging on the previous show that I shared on Monday, or the previous live stream, the Tekka Audiovisual Fest. That was really challenging. They sometimes turn off all the lights and only the projection on the screen, and it's just not easy to deal with. This one was okay. This one was, I'm not saying it's easy. There are some challenges as well. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, so a lot of unpredictable movements. But in terms of lighting, it wasn't that challenging. Yeah. Jerry says, I have around 10 Micro Four Thirds lenses. I also have around 20 vintage lenses, which I can adapt to my cameras. But you don't adapt all 20 lenses on the 10 camera bodies and carry them all out at once, right? I'm asking your setup. Right? So, yeah. Camille says, EM1 Mark III with 12-100 with Panasonic 9 f1.7 for travel. That makes sense. Oh, very good choice. 9 for wide angle, 12-100 for everything else. EM10 Mark II and Panasonic 20 f1.7 for everyday carry. Makes sense. A 40mm equivalent is good enough to do everything. Sigma 30 and 56 1.4 for work. You need the bright open aperture f1.4. I guess you're dealing with some low light shooting here and maybe some portraits as well for the shallow depth of field. And Panasonic 100-400 for wildlife. Olympus 12-40 for general stuff. Totally understand. Very good choice of setup. Thanks, Zimi. Appreciate the kind words. Zach says, I love Robin's photography. He's using his Hasselblad X2D. Someone was shooting with Hasselblad X2D in that particular shoot. Someone was actually using that camera. The iPhone 8 or Olympus EM5 Mark III for these photos. None of those. But I did say it was a Micro Four Thirds camera, right? I did say that with the Micro Four Thirds lenses. I did not lie, right? I was even telling you what lenses I used. I mounted on the camera for some of the shots. I specifically said like 45 1.8 and 75 1.8 for some of the shots, right? Jerry says, my big favorite is a lens which is the 7.2 centimeters long, weighs 310 grams, but it's 600 millimeters equivalent. It's some 300 reflex. Okay. Well, no autofocus, no go. Taco Noko says, did you use the OG EM1? Yes, I did. Someone guessed it right. It was the Olympus OMD EM1 original from the year 2013. Camera is a bit dark here. Just gonna try to get it in focus. It is the EM1 original. You're right, Taco Noko, though you don't get any prize. Don't have anything that I can give you for guessing it right. So all the shots were taken with this EM1. I thought, well, full disclosure, this was not a job. The previous one, the Audio Visual Fast Tekka, which I shared on Monday, that was a job. That was a paid shoot. This particular one, the dress rehearsal, was not a shoot. I did this on a voluntary basis. I went there to shoot for them. They get to use my photographs. No restrictions. And of course, I get to use these photographs. I use them for my video and talk about them on my live stream, right? So that's why I dared to use the EM1. But then again, I realized that the EM1 just performed flawlessly. And it reminded me of how amazing and how dependable the EM1 original was. I did use the EM1 for jobs for many years back then, right? To shoot weddings, to shoot events and portraits and everything else. I was earning as a photographer. The camera has performed so well back then. There's no reason why the camera cannot perform today. So I brought it to shoot the mini concert. I delivered those shots to my clients. And I will say this may kind of sound wrong, but let me be very, very clear. I'm saying these things not of ill intention. I'm saying this to show that Micro Four Thirds is more than sufficient to get a job done. And I'm not even using my most capable gear, which is the EM1 Mark II, right? Which I usually use for jobs. If I'm being paid, of course, I'll bring the EM1 Mark II. I gotta use my best tool for the job. But since it was the EM1, I still got the jobs. And the clients, not the clients, well, they are my clients. They pay me for other jobs. Well, they are very happy with the photographs. They printed 12 of my photographs on the spot. And yeah, and this is what I'm going to say. There are other photographers there. And they are using very expensive cameras. Hasselblad X2D, Nikon Z9, Sony's, I don't know, maybe it's A1 or A7R, whatever, some of the newer, more capable cameras out there. I'm talking about like tens of thousands of gear, right? And I'm not saying that the shots are bad. I have to be very careful in wording this. What I can say is, if I show you my photographs taken with this EM1 that day, right, side by side with the shots they were taken with all this expensive gear by all these other photographers, I am very confident, I'm saying this confidently, if you have to pick, you will choose my photographs. That's all I can say. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to criticize the output from other photographers. That's just mean, right? And I don't want to put anyone down. I respect everyone is free to shoot whatever they can. I respect the choices of gear. If you have the money to buy the most expensive camera, like Hasselblad, whatever, feel free to do so. But in this case, I'm telling the truth. Facts are facts, right? If you have to choose between my shots and their shots, and you can go to Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center, all the shots are there. I'm not kidding. If you have to choose, I'm very confident to say that you will choose my shots. That's all. And having that knowledge with me, it sort of like solidifies my belief that, yeah, I'm using the right system. Like, I'm looking at all the other shots, right? I'm looking at my shots. I'm like, hey, I'm using a 16 megapixels camera, and they're using like what, 100 megapixels cameras. They're using like 60 something megapixels cameras, and they're using like the latest camera with human face and eye tracking, autofocus. I'm using such an old camera from 2013, and I got my shots. I'm perfectly happy with them. That's all I can say. All right, let's get to the chat. Where were we? Zoltan says, absolutely beautiful pictures and perfect composition. Everything you said about the photographer needs to move around, you're right. The success is 50% of the camera and the other 50% is the maker. Definitely, if you don't move, your shots will just look very static, and that's the problem if you shoot from the seat, right? And I'll definitely prefer to shoot during dress rehearsal, definitely. Zimi says, almost all birding and my cats. All right, all right. Zimi says the Lumix 100 to 300 is my main lens, the Mark II. Always miss shots when it's not on my camera. I understand, I understand. Serafin says I have quite a few lenses, but I like to use daily most often the OM3 and 17. F1.2, that makes sense. OM5 and a 12 to F2. Wow, one wide angle, 135 equivalent. Very interesting. Rudolph says, my setup is OM1 Mark II, a Panasonic 12 to 60, Olympus 75 to 300, Mark II, GM1 with Panasonic 15. All right. Well, I have the GM1 and Panasonic 15 as well. It's one of my street photography setup. If you want to go really small, if I want to use the equivalent, well, I say equivalent 28. I know it's not equivalent. It's 30, 15 times 2, right? But I use it like a 28 lens. It's to me, it's my wide angle lens for street photography, and I think that lens works fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, Zimi. Appreciate that. Goldak. Or Goldak. That's how to say it. Have you tried the DJI Panasonic 15? No, I have not. Why do I want to? I have the Panasonic 15. I mean, I don't buy lens just to try it out. It doesn't make sense. I buy lens to use it. And I am using the Panasonic 15. Like, you know, so I've been using it a lot. Like now I'm still using it. You guys are seeing me through it, right? Why do I want another lens? Doesn't make sense. Zach says my street setup is EMR Mark II. Mitacon 17. Wow, street photography with manual focus. Okay, extra battery and a new PGY tag. Slim camera strap, no bag, water bottle on the sling. Nighttime, I'll just bring the FLM3 flash. Makes sense, makes sense. Oreo says, I use EMR Mark II and 12 to 40 f2.8, 40 to 150R for everything. I recently got the Laowa 6, which is a very fun lens. I can totally understand why people buy the Laowa 6. There's nothing like it. Right? If you have one autofocus, there's no such autofocus counterpart. The widest autofocus lens will be 714, both from Panasonic and Olympus. So you want anything wider than that, that's rectilinear, and it's f2, right? It's super bright. Yeah, Laowa 6. And for wide angle, that 1mm makes a huge difference. 7 to 6, that is massive, massive difference. Yeah. Eped Rock. Sorry if I got it wrong. My walk around travel setup EM5 Mark III, 12 to 45 f4 Pro, 40 to 150 f4 to 5.6. If I shoot in the evening, I'll use the 20 f1.4, which is the OM system lens, right? My next purchase will be 45 f1.8 for portraits. That is a cheap lens compared to everything else that you have. It's so cheap. I think it's a no-brainer. Definitely get it. Coming up, Mariam says I guessed it wrong. I thought it was the EM10 Mark II. I don't have the EM10 Mark II anymore. I had it for a period of time, but I've sold it off to fund the EM5 Mark III, right? Zach says portrait photography setup is me in my truck driving as far away from the shoot as possible. Okay. Zimi says, I also have the EM5 original, but it got adopted by my partner. He also uses an EM1 Mark II with the 12 to 100 for landscape and travel. Yeah, 12 to 100, that's like one lens to do everything. That's a fantastic lens. Chronic Photography Syndrome says, as Maverick once said, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. I argue that you become a more skilled photographer using a lesser camera rather than one with tons of features. I agree. I think using an older gear definitely will push you to your limit, but I also argue that the EM1 is a very capable camera. Like, the autofocus, man, it works. I'll tell you this, I am more confident using this EM1's autofocus in that situation compared to the OM1. I'm not kidding. Some people were asking, hey Robin, why do you use the OM1? Like, that was the exact situation where the OM1's autofocus will fail. That's one thing, right? And the 16 megapixels image sensor is still very good. To be fair, the newer cameras from OM system Olympus, they were only 20 megapixels. 26 versus 16, like, yeah, that's 25% more pixels, but it's not like night and day, right? It's not like you're comparing 16 and say 36 megapixels or 45 megapixels, then you really see the massive gap of difference. But it's just 16 from this old sensor versus 20 megapixels in EMR Mark II. So like when I look at the images, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the EMR Mark II is better. I can see some differences, but it's more than good enough what I get from this EM1 original. So there you go. Rod says, Robin, how do you suggest to start and get better at portrait photography? How do you start with this genre? I did not start doing portraits. I started doing street photography, and I guess shooting people is both easy and difficult. Easy because the person is there. It's not like the person is jumping around and dancing, right? Like shooting a dance or a martial arts, that will be challenging. So portraits because the person stays relatively still, so that's you can work with that. I think the trick here, a few things you have to pay attention to: lighting, whether it's controlled lighting in a studio environment or natural lighting, you're working with available light. You have to really know what you're doing with your lighting. Secondly, will be communication. What the client or the person that you're shooting with for, what do that person want? Is it a corporate kind of portrait with serious looking for websites or annual reports kind of purpose? Then there are certain templates or certain do's and don'ts that you have to follow. Just look for examples online. So many examples already. Or it's more like a casual, fun portrait. You can let loose and let the person that you're shooting with be him or herself. Interaction, communication is very important. Make sure that the person that you're shooting has some feedback as well, because you are shooting that person. You're going to give the photographs to that person. So it's not just all about what you want to do. It's also about what the person wants. So there's a lot of things to talk about. But I don't think portraits are that complicated. Everyone has different styles. You gotta find your own voice as well along the way. But start with something easy. I would say pay attention to lighting and pay attention to communication. You can start from there, right? Andrew says, I think all the Micro Four Thirds lenses that I have, I feel the Panasonic 15 is the best investment at this time, despite it being very pocket pinching. It suits a lot of my candid shots. It's a fantastic lens, and for that price, it's not like asking for like 5,000 ringgit or 7,000 ringgit, right? I bought mine in the used market for like 1,002. So I think it's a very... Actually, I was willing to buy new. Funny story. Was it LTEC camera in Times Square? I was ready to buy new, right? And then they got back to me and said, oh Robin, we ran out of stock. But we have a used unit. It's selling for 1,002. Are you willing to get a used unit? For sure. Why not? Right? I was willing to like pay 2,000 plus ringgit for that lens. So yeah. Ironically, I'm not using the Olympus 25 f1.8 as much since the 15. I use 25 more for street. But then again, can't really compare 50 to 28. Both are very different. You can't do what you do with the 25 f1.8 with the 15, and you can't do... I mean, likewise, right? Like if you're composed with the 15 and you get the shots that you get from the 15, you can't use the 25 to get those shots. So they're both very different lenses. I'll say both lenses will give you very different results. Chronic Photography Syndrome says, my setup is Panasonic GF3 with Olympus 17 f2.8. I also adapt Nikkor 50 f1.8 and Minolta 135 f2.8 to it. I'm looking to upgrade to GS7, mainly used for everyday carry and street. Wow, you must be a very patient photographer dealing with all this manual focusing work. Zach says, landscape setup, EM1 Mark II, 1245, 4150 f4, Olympus battery grip, Sirui. Okay, back. Thermals, green tea? Okay, with a pipe. No worries, Crypto, I share what I can. All right, it's time to share the second set of photographs. Let me drink more coffee and some water. There goes the coffee. No more coffee. Gotta stay hydrated. Hey. Time check, 23 minutes to midnight. We have one set of photographs to go. So now it's already revealed that the photographs were shot with this Olympus OMD EM1 original, or EM1 Mark I from 2013. I think it's a fantastic camera, fully capable, powerful image stabilization, very comfortable grip. Love the dual dial control, love the electronic viewfinder, love the tilt screen. Everything just works in the camera. There's nothing to complain about this camera. It just, I mean, if you can't use it to get good shots, then the problem is probably you. All right. Okay, Yeah, photographs. Where were we? Right. So, yeah, more choreography, dance on stage. The theme, okay, I forgot to mention, the theme was Yesterday Once More. It's a series of mini concerts where all the singers are doing very old songs from the Bee Gees, from Elvis Presley, from ABBA, from all these like from groups from 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, it's very the golden melodies, right? Which is very, very interesting. So yeah. So you can imagine the crowd as well. They are not exactly the youngsters. So which is very, very cool. Right. I actually met my friend's mom there. So can you imagine? My friend wasn't there. My friend's mom was there. So the target audience were definitely not the younger crowd. So yeah. And all the dancers on stage, all the singers dancing as well. And I intentionally shoot this from a higher angle so I can see everyone. I talked about that already. Right, just again, I want to see everyone clearly so you can see all the main singers, and even if there is slight blur in the background because of shallow depth of field, but it's not too blurred that you can't tell who they are. So I guess that's also one of the advantages of shooting with Micro Four Thirds. I can shoot a wide open f1.8. I can still see everything very, very clearly, right? Yeah, I can see the choreography, the dance synchronized moves, the hand gestures and everything. Gotta shoot this. They put a lot of effort in doing this. It's gotta capture all these moments as well. Yeah, and look at that, right? Okay, so there are a lot of things happening here and there. I cannot shoot everything because I can't be at all places at once. While this is happening, something else is happening on the other part of the stage. So, of course, the singer was playing with the dancers, and you can see that all the very funny expression that dancers are making towards the singers trying to approach them, which I thought was very funny as well. Yeah, and there's like while there was dance happening, there's this thing happening on the other side. I try to capture as much as possible. Of course, there'll be some shots that I miss, which I hope the other photographers will capture as well. Yeah, more dances happening on the stage, right? Yeah, and here's one thing. A lot of people are very focused on the main singers and the main highlight of the show. A lot of people don't go and cover the band members because the band members are also very important. Every single person on stage, they are crucial in making the sound happen, making the show happen. This is the music director, Jacqueline. Without her, none of this would happen. She made all the arrangements, right? Of course, I also capture the drummer, the bassist, the guitarist, the keyboardist. I capture every single person. And that's the reason why my photographs were printed. Because I have all these individual shots. Because I make sure I have nice, clear shots of every single person on stage. Because everyone is important, right? That's Ian, the director, as well, right? I've captured him before. That's Kirsten. Her solo came in late in the second half. So she didn't have the solo here. And I can only move about capturing all these shots during solo sessions when there's no crazy dances happening on stage. Because when there's dances, I don't know what's happening, so I can't move at the side to go as close as I can to capture all these other band members. So that's Kirsten doing her solo number, and she has all these lights shining on her. Just play with the lights composed with her in the background. Right, going close to the 75 f1.8. I think this was the 45 1.8, and this is 75 f1.8. Right, and this is Joel, or Joel. I think Joel is the right pronunciation, but I think in Malaysia we all call it Joel. For whatever reason, we got it wrong, but it's so normalized here. We're so used to it. We just call, hey, Joel. But I think his name, I mean, in proper English pronunciation is Joel, right? So, and that's Joel again, right? And that's one of the dance. No, she's the co-director with Ian. So her role is also very, very, very important, right? So yeah, she's the co-director. So there you go. That's the last group shot of everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the short sharing. I shared about 40-something photographs of everyone here. Yesterday, once more, Boogie Nights. It was running from last Thursday to Sunday. Yeah, I shot this on Wednesday, the dress rehearsal, delivered to my clients on I guess it's Thursday morning already, because I went home around midnight, edited my photographs and shared it with them, and they shared them all over the Instagram, on the official Facebook page, and everywhere, blasted everywhere. Hope you guys enjoyed the short sharing. These shots were all taken with the Olympus EM1 original, the first OMD EM1, the first professional grade mirrorless camera, which I think is still a fantastic camera today, still delivered fantastic jobs. All these photographs were taken with the EM1. There you go. All right, let's get to the chat. Andrew says, you are lucky, Robin. I bought the 15 brand new, and a week after that, quite a number of used 15 pop-up car sale. Ah! I know. It happens to me. It happened to me when I was buying, I think, a Nikon lens. I think it was the 40 f2. I wanted to buy used. I couldn't find one, and I really wanted the lens so badly, so I bought it new. Thankfully, it was during a very heavily discounted time, like 11 sales or something. And then, like, 2 weeks later, so many of them pop up in the used market. This is crazy. Sarafin says, the person asking about the DJI 15 is just like the Panasonic Leica 15 that I returned it, saved myself several $100s. Okay. Nicholas Tron says, decided to get back into photography after 20 years. That's a long time. Got myself EM10 Mark IV. I am loving it. Welcome back to photography, and welcome to the Macro Four Thirds world. You Pat Ross says, thank you so much, Robin. You are doing such a great work with this channel. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Andrew says, very lovely coverage, Robin. Awesome shots. No worries. Wolfie says, hey, Robin. Hey, Wolfie. Nice to see you here. I missed the first part of the stream. YouTube didn't notify me, even though I clicked on the notify me button. Blame the YouTube, right? I just woke up from the nap, and I have a severe food poisoning since Monday. Oh, man. I am so sorry to hear that. Get well soon, and make sure you don't do anything crazy. And stay hydrated. I guess whenever we have food poisoning, we don't realize it, but we are getting severely dehydrated. So make sure you stay hydrated, yeah? And yeah, hopefully you'll get well soon and you can get to play with your cameras. One thing I want to say about Wolfie, you commented on my GS7 video recently, and you noticed that I actually recorded the shutter sound separately. And when you hear the camera click when I show the photographs, it was the actual shutter sound of the GS7. If you go through all my POV videos, whether it's Pentax K01 or Olympus EM1 or the GM1 or whatever camera that I use, I always recorded the shutter sound independently and use it just to have that close, like you can feel that the shots were taken from that camera. So yeah, thanks for noticing that. I put in just that little bit of extra effort, and yeah, it shows, right? And it makes it a little bit more enjoyable looking at those photographs. Thanks for that. Nicholas says, your video has been great in helping me understand my new camera. No worries, I share as much as I can. I share however I can. Yeah, Zach says, excellent photos. Crazy how good the old 16 megapixel sensor is. Yeah, and I don't want to be mean, but I would like to say that my photos look better than some of the higher megapixel cameras out there. I know it's not fair because we are different photographers. For those of you who joined the stream, there are other photographers shooting at that same dress rehearsal as well. I wasn't the only photographer, and they were using like 100 megapixels Hasselblad, Nikon Z9, Sony A7R series, all these 40, 60 megapixels. And when I look at the photographs, yeah, I feel like my photographs have more details. It seems like I have higher megapixel count camera. Anyways, I shouldn't be talking mean about people, and you know, I'm also thankful that they were there because I couldn't shoot everything. I was only one person, right? And you know, I couldn't be at different places at the same time, so they also covered the things that I missed. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm just saying that if I were to choose, yeah, if you have to choose, I'm very confident to say that you would choose my photographs. Fabagamoga says, great photographs. I love how you capture the moment for each of the performer. Very important to really capture every single person. Very, very, very important. Thanks, Wolfie. Appreciate the kind words. Chronic Photography Syndrome says, I can't decide between Panasonic 25 f1.7 and Olympus 45 f1.8. But both are very different lenses though. Like, do you want to shoot things from a further distance? Are you okay with a further view that the 45 provides, or would you prefer a wider coverage? Like, we are all different photographers. I can't decide this for you. You have to decide it for yourself. Do you prefer a wider or a more zoom in view? So yeah, food poisoning is no joke. Get well soon, Wolfie. Yeah, man, take care. Wolfie says, sorry, I didn't know that. I guess it's because Jet 7 is so loud and sensitive that I notice it more often in the other videos. Yeah, it's yeah, I tried, right? And especially the E1, my E1 POV videos, you have that nice shutter clacking sound, right? Because everyone's saying the E1's shutter sound is more beautiful or softer in some ways. Yeah. Escape says Panasonic G9 Olympus EM5 Mark III zooms Olympus 12-40 f2.8 Mark II, Panasonic 35-100 f2.8, Panasonic Primes 12 to 1.4, 15 1.7, 25 1.4, 42.5 f1.2 Nauticron. Please add pay by Apple Wallet to buy me a coffee. I'll post. Who says thank you Zach, thank you Robin for the well wishes. No worries. And yeah, like what Zach says, food poisoning is no joke. Yeah, I mean we've all been there, right? At one point or another. Yeah, so Robin says talk me, we won't tell. I mean, all I'm saying is I expected better results looking at your cameras, right? Like when you look at a person with, say, a 100 megapixel camera or a 60 megapixel camera, you will think that, you know, the camera is costing a lot more compared to what my EM1 costed. Even when during new, right? The camera is like easily 5 times more expensive than what I have, and it being the latest and greatest. You expected that the photographs to look better. I'm not even talking about composition or lighting or moment or whatever. I'm talking about like sharpness, noise, dynamic range, colors, like very normal technical details. I'm not even talking about, oh, Robin, you are a more skillful photographer. Of course, the photos, I'm not even talking about that, right? I'm not talking about, of course, I know the performance well. I know how they move. Like, I know Bichu so well. I know how to capture her right angle. That's not fair. But I'm talking about like, when you zoom pixel the photographs and looking at the contrast and details and noise control, like you will think that what they get will be cleaner than Micro Four Thirds, right? You think that the photographs will be sharper with more details, right? Because full frame is superior, right? You know, like, no, you'll think that my Micro Four Thirds camera is better. Wolfie says, I put a lot of a hot shoe thumb grip hook that I forgot I had on the Pentax Q on the Panasonic GS7. It was surprised how much comfort it added to the thumb, even it was comfortable without one. Interesting. Chronic Photography Syndrome says, I feel like most Hasselblad shooters cheat shots by cropping afterwards. Yeah. Then crop or no crop, I don't care. I honestly don't care how you got your shot. If you want to crop, you crop. I care about the results. So when you show me the photograph, it's only good and bad, right? If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I just have to be really honest, right? Yeah. Rich says, have you seen the silly posts with people adding bigger lenses to the Charmera? Yeah, I've seen that. I guess there's no point. I guess they want to have fun, right? It's a toy camera, so there are many ways of having fun doing that. I just want to use it as it is, and it's already so fun by itself. I'll do maybe one more video doing something with the Charmera, maybe a tips and tricks video on how to get the best out of the Charmera. We'll see. Yeah, Wolfie says, I know you don't have it anymore, but I wish you could have tried that to see if it helped with how much it cramped your fingers. The fingers are cramped in front, not at the back. It's the front part. So I guess like a leather grip would have helped because it'll stretch further down, but the hook area doesn't help so much. Yeah. Hey Linda, how are you? Good to see you here. Linda says, I'm late seeing the first batch of photographs, not the Charmera, I guess. No. The answer is already revealed, Linda. It's the Olympus OMD EM1 original. So yeah, it's not the Charmera. Definitely not the Charmera. Who says, Robin, have you seen the Ricoh GR4 monochrome? Yeah, it was launched like this morning, Malaysian time. I'm talking about like 12 hours ago. Yeah, it's out. Will you be able to test it in Malaysia? They have not contacted me yet. The people distributing, the official distributor for Ricoh Pentax in Malaysia is Futuromic. I have a very good relationship with them. I guess if I were to ask nicely, we can do something together, but I'm not sure if they have sample units in Malaysia. That's another possibility, right? They may not have an actual testing unit available or review unit. They already opened 3 units for the GR4, the original version. So now even the HDF, I didn't see them doing anything with anyone. So the fact that they've been silent until launch, they haven't contacted me. I haven't seen anyone locally in Malaysia posting anything about the GR4 monochrome. I guess it's safe to assume that no, they are not doing anything in terms of marketing with that camera. But I'm very curious to see what the camera can do. I mean, if I can get my hands on one, I definitely want to try one out. I think it's a fantastic camera. It's nice to see that Leica is not the only one with a true monochrome camera, right? There's another player out there, and it's so much cheaper than buying a Leica, right? I know it's not the same. The Leica monochrome is full frame, and I know it's Leica, Ricoh is different, it's APS-C, blah, 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 blah. You can talk about all these things, but still, it's way cheaper than paying for a Leica, right? Ink and Barrel, hey, how are you? Nice to see you here. Ink and Barrel says good morning from San Diego, California. Normal kit, GH7, 12 f2, 17 f1.8, 12 to 60 f2.8 to f4, GH7, 12 to 60 f2.8, Panasonic, 100 to 400, f4 to 5.6, or GH7. 12 to 60 f2.8 to f4, G9 40 to 150R. It can be random. Have more kit. I see. That's really interesting. Rich says he called it the Kodak Chimera Pro Max. Nah. I guess yeah. I just want to use it as it is. It's so fun by itself, right? Nida says EM1 or GM1. EM1. I've already revealed the answer already. Who says the price of $2,200 is making it very unlikely that I will buy such a specialized camera for such money. Yeah, I just want to play with one. I will buy one if I'm doing quite well this year, depending on my photography business, how much I can earn, how much spare cash that I can rake in. I don't mind buying one for myself for Christmas. Maybe not right away. Maybe when the price come down a little bit until the end of the year, and I'll just buy one with all the cashbacks, right? Yeah, buy one for myself because my birthday is during Christmas. It's on the Boxing Day, so Christmas plus birthday gift for myself. Hey, I deserve nice things, right? IKL says OM1 40 to 150 Pro, 100 to 400 Mark II, 12 to 40 Pro, Sigma 16, the third person with a Sigma lens, and the Olympus 12 to f2. Very nice set of lenses, very nice coverage from 12 all the way to 400, which is very interesting. Rich says, I love to try a monochrome camera. I'm colorblind, so I like the idea of taking color out of the equation. They're all way out of my price range though. Yeah, wait for the price to come down a little bit. Like, I'm sure in maybe 3 years, depending on, well, I mean, it could go both ways, right? The price can come down when there's no demand, or the price can shoot up when the demand is so high, it can be like double the price of what they're asking for now. So it could go both ways, right? But knowing Ricoh, yeah, maybe the price will just stay exactly as they are now, even 3 years from now. We'll see, we'll see. We say, so Robin, do you think the Olympus 9 body cap lens is worth getting for fisheye? Yeah, definitely. If you can find one at a good price, don't pay for the full price. If you find one at a very, very good price, why not? I missed the 8 f1.8 Pro, but the 450 pounds is a bit more than the $50, 50 pounds of the little plastic cap. It's not the same though, it's not the same. The quality is completely different. One is a pro lens, one is just a cheap toy lens. IKL says, unfortunately, most people cannot accept the fact that micro four thirds systems require the fastest possible lenses, like the Olympus f1.2 Pro Prime lenses. That is an exaggeration. Have you seen the photographs I've shared? None of them were taken with the f1.2 lens. And was there anything wrong with the photographs? Not just on this live stream. There was also another set that I've shared on Monday, which I talk about why I'm staying with micro four thirds. I delivered those shots to my clients, and I'm very confident to say that those shots would have been better than full frame shots, and they were taken with f1.7, f1.8. No doubt, f1.2 will be better, but f1.2 lenses were also large and heavy. And when I was shooting for the entire day from 2 all the way to midnight. I'm talking about more than 10 hours shooting duration. Every grams, every weight that I can shave off the system, it matters. I'm not denying f1.2 will get more light, but f1.8 was more than sufficient to get the job done. Like, I think this is a very arrogant sentence that you're throwing out here. People cannot accept the fact that Micro Four Thirds require the fastest possible lens. Like, no. I think f1.8 is more than sufficient for me. Ink and Barrel says, I used to use the lens cap. It was not as much fun as I expected. It's more like a toy lens. It is a toy lens. On the other hand, I have a friend who has one on, always on the EPM one. Yeah, just don't think too much. Don't expect too much out of it. I think that's the way you use those cheaper lenses, right? Yeah. Ruby says, oh, I forgot about the topic. My Micro Four Thirds is extremely limited now. So it's GS7 with the 14 to 42 kit lens. Ah, nice. That's very capable. I'm hoping I can get at least the 25 f1.7. May I interest you with the Olympus 25 f1.8 because the Olympus lens has no focus breathing issue, whereas the Panasonic 25 f1.7 has the focus shift issue, which is very, very problematic at times. Andrew says, on the hindsight, the Ricoh monochrome is so much more cheaper than a Leica M monochrome. Exactly, right? It's like, we don't really have that many choices out there. IKL says, often seen f1.4 doesn't provide enough light for a tiny sensor. So you are saying that my photographs are bad. Is that what you're saying? That they are not good enough? That my clients are not happy and they are bad? Like, you are not happy looking at my photographs. They don't pass your standards. Is that what you're saying? Like, really? Seriously? Anyway, Wolfie says, so should I get the Samyang 7.5 fisheye? It's about, yeah, why not? I think the fisheye will give you a much better image quality. Yeah. Olympus, 160 pounds, while the Panasonic is 100 pounds. All right. Which says, I just watched 28 years later, shot an iPhone. It convinced me to just save for a nicer Micro Four Thirds lens rather than bothering with coveting full frame. Yeah. All right. That's it. It is midnight here in Malaysia. We will put a stop here. Let's call it a night. It's been a long day for me. I have an early day tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for joining this live stream. Thanks for sharing with me your setup. I'm surprised. Very little Sigma users. I would expect more Sigma 16 or 56 or 30 f1.4 lens users. Only like 3 people talk about using Sigma, so that's very surprising. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed looking at my photographs that I've shared shooting for Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre. I hope you guys have benefited from my sharing as well, learned a thing or two from there. Yeah, I will definitely have more live streams happening, but not every week now. The next live stream will happen 2 weeks from now. So next week we'll have a long form video for both Monday and Thursday. The Thursday one, I'm very, very excited to share. So do look forward to that. Until the next one, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.